What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, I want to get one final word in this week about Wilder and Zhang. We all know what's going on, but I just want to say this bare bones, man, right? Just these small little details that everybody knows, but I just wanted to sink in for everyone who's been wanting to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. And for every time, it seemed like something may happen, nothing happens. And then you don't hear about the fight. And then it's, all of this just people with opinions and pretty much nothing getting done as far as the fight actually happening. And we know Eddie Hearn spoke endlessly about making these offers and the offers being either ignored or turned down. Well, basically both. Now, for Deontay Wilder to actually decide to sign with Eddie Hearn, it goes to show you things could not have been nearly as bad as what he said. Things could not have been true. Because when you have a snake, you don't deal. When you see somebody as a snake, when you see someone as just a two-faced, backstabbing, lying type of person, well, let's look at it this way. He was never friends or had any relationship with Eddie Hearn, right? But, he did with Mark Breland. So, this is business, but at the same time, you talk about loyalty and talk about having a brotherhood with people that you love and respect and, care for. Just saying, he could have squared things away with Mark Breland. But at the end of the day, for you to surrender, wave the white flag and say, hey, man, I want in. What's done is done. But it goes to show you what I'm saying. A lot of time, the person doing the most complaining is the reason why things are not happening for them the way that they would like them to. Now, with all that being said, look, think about it. This fight was jeopardized because Wilder lost to Parker. Zhang wanted to do something that he never got a chance to do, and that's become world champion. Zhang is 40 years old. Now, between him and Wilder, aside from the Urkovic fight, I saw one fight with Zhang where he, was a little scuffle. But I've never seen Zhang, get beat up. So, I believe physically, Zhang has more left in the table physically than Wilder does. Now, in terms of, your skills deteriorating, those type of things, I mean, that's just a father time, mother nature type situation. Like, what's going to happen is going to happen. But I mean, in terms of who I feel has more in the tank, I believe Zhang does. Now, some interesting things. When you think about it, Deontay Wilder lost the one fight to Joseph Parker. That's what pushed him back. All he need is to win. And I feel strongly he wins this fight. The next fight he's going to be in is going to be him and AJ. And I don't get caught up into the hype. I don't get caught up into all the talking. But Wilder, him and Zhang are in such, damn near identical positions right now. I already explained all of that, but it's really going to come down to who really wants it more. Zhang is not a big talker, and he just basically wants to fight. He'll do his interviews and answer questions, but Zhang doesn't, have a lot to say. But Zhang, he may spoil the fight. If he beats Wilder, there's no AJ and Wilder. It's just done. You know, and it's a shame that it even got this far, because the truth of the matter is, when you are undefeated, when you're, even if you lose and you bounce back, just like Pacquiao did, you know, with Marquez, because that fight, once he got knocked out by Marquez, it was like, man, damn, you just messed the fight up with Floyd, you know. But at the end of the day, to sell a fight, to say whatever it is that you feel you want to say to get the people interested and to try to assure them you're going to win, okay, it all sounds good, but when you get in the ring, that's when it matters. And all of it don't even sound good, because like me, I can smell bullshit, you know. But let me say, everything is on the line for both guys. Zhang because of his age, Wilder because of his age, and because of the fact that he just lost to Parker. And you know, he looked really bad in the fight. So he needs to do something here. He not only needs to win, but he needs to win by knockout and look good doing it, because he's not gonna outbox this guy, Zhang. Okay, unless he can stay away and Zhang starts to fade and gets tired and starts to fade, you know, and maybe Wilder can just get the knockout. But anyway, Zhang, I don't know how motivated he is. See, because he wants something that he never had, like I said, with the world championship. Wilder's had the world championship at one point. And what I don't like about what Wilder keeps saying, Wilder constantly mentions how he lost his love, his desire, his hunger, his passion for the sport. Every time you say that, then you turn around and say, but you got your passion back, and all of a sudden you did nothing in the ring aside from get beat by Parker. So I know that all that's just bravado, and he understands it's all or nothing. I have to leave everything in the ring, and if I'm going to lose, I'm going to go out in a blaze. So basically, that's where Wilder is. Zhang, you know, him losing to Parker in a competitive fight, there's still the rematch with Parker. There's, guys like he never fought a Daniel Dubois. Like, there's still some fights for Zhang. I just don't see Zhang being looked at as someone that they want in title contention at that point. It depends, man. There's also a rematch with Filip Hrgović. But, once again, Zhang's clock is ticking, so he doesn't have a hell of a lot of time to do all of these things, right? And that's if the fights actually happen. So he's in the same situation as Wilder in that sense. But the reason why it's over for Wilder is because Wilder has already been champion. The loss is to Fury, the loss is to Parker, and then pretty much it's just, hey, look, man, when this guy gets in there with a top level fighter, he loses. So how many more chances are we going to give this guy? Like, basically, because if you be honest with you, if we're being honest, okay, they could very easily have Joseph Parker versus Anthony Joshua. Because if you look at it, no matter what people say, Joseph Parker is really being screwed in this situation. Because Joseph Parker beat Wilder and Zhang. But now all of a sudden it's Zhang versus Wilder, and it's obvious if Wilder wins, it's gonna be Wilder versus they want to make that fight with him and AJ. And it's not going to hurt anything because Usyk and Fury are going to fight 2 times. Now, let's say Zhang wins. Are they going to make it AJ versus Zhang? Because if you're not going to make it AJ versus Zhang, it's like, well, what's the purpose? If they don't make it AJ versus Zhang, if Zhang wins, it just goes to show you this whole thing was built with the fingers crossed, hoping that Wilder will win so we can get AJ versus Wilder. Otherwise, why would you do him dirty like that? That's also why I told you guys months ago when the fight happened between Parker and Wilder that Look at what they did with Parker. Parker beats Wilder, but you don't get Parker versus AJ. You get Ngannou versus AJ because this is a massive money grab, right? But once again, Parker got screwed. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes to show you, Parker wasn't supposed to win that fight. Now, even though I'm pretty sure the Saudis wanted AJ to beat Otto Wallin, the critics, the majority of them, had Otto Wallin winning. And like I said before, it was said that if the fight between AJ and Wilder doesn't happen, it's going to be because of AJ. You see, and when Wilder loses, once again, there's no AJ versus Parker. So Parker's in the position of, okay, let's keep bringing him back, but he has to win, right? Okay, well, he's not on this card. He'll more than likely be on the next one, or whatever card AJ's on. Who knows? You know, but let me say, it's like Parker has to keep proving himself. We want to see the best versus the best, and I believe the Saudis want that as well. But also, they want fights that they feel is going to be more compelling to the audience, that they're going to be more into. And Parker's in a situation of, he's in a good place because he's winning, but he's also in a position of, he's being overlooked. You understand what I mean? He's like, he's there, but do we want to put him in there against one of the champions? And, you know, you also got to look at it this this way. What if a situation happened where it came down to Parker and Fury, and then they don't fight each other because they're friends? So what happens? Like what happens if Parker was a mandatory and Fury was holding the belt? What happens? Probably nothing, because when you think about it, David Benavidez has been the mandatory for Canelo for 3 years, and nothing happened. And they won't strip Canelo the same way they won't strip Fury. So, to look at the whole scope of everything going on, Wilder and Malik Scott, well, basically Malik Scott in this situation did something smart finally. Whereas when they brought up Anthony Joshua, he didn't want to talk about Anthony Joshua. And I you know, it only took a year. But like I said, man, you need to focus on the guy in front of you. Don't worry about Anthony Joshua. Don't look you looking past Joseph Parker. Focus on your opponent. So maybe this is a new start that's going to last for a short while. Because should Wilder win, once again, I believe after he fights AJ, if he wins against Zhang and he fights AJ, that's probably going to be his last fight. Because I believe AJ is going to beat the shit out of him if they do fight. But at the same time, I believe that will be his last fight. Now, in terms of Zhang winning, we know it's over for Wilder if he loses. I mean, and you know, at 38 years old, you think Wilder want to start from the bottom? No. And not only that, but his confidence will be broken. Inside, he'll be broken. Do you think he's going to want to jump in there with a Daniel Dubois, somebody else that's dangerous after, you know, and I believe he fights AJ, he gets knocked out. That's what I believe happens. I believe AJ completely just destroys him. Now, with that being said, okay, win, lose, or draw, when you retire from boxing and you can say, I didn't win every fight, but I fought the top guys in my division of my era, that's far more respectable than not having these guys on your resume. This is why you don't waste valuable time. I remember Paulie Malignaggi told Adrian Broner one time, he said, man, take advantage. I'm telling you, it doesn't last forever, man. Before you know it, it's over. And Paulie wasn't lying, though. And now look at the situation Adrian Broner's in. He was cocky, arrogant, always chewing on that fucking gum and Just his posture, everything about him just was so arrogant, like he just thought he could do no wrong. Now look at where Adrian Broner is right now in his career. So 2 years ago when I said Adrian Broner is finished and people were saying, I don't think he's finished, that's fine. You don't have to think he's finished. But I'm looking at what's going on. I'm being realistic about this man's life, like what he's doing, what he's, portraying on his camera, and the fact that this man is not even in the gym anymore. Do you think Adrian Broner would be in it if he was in the gym training, really putting that work in? Do you think Adrian Broner wouldn't that this wouldn't be filmed? And then every time I saw the dude, he looked like he's way overweight with a pot belly. He's fat. So now when you look and say, and you're not wrong for having your opinion, but when you look and say, damn, every time this dude quotes something, it happens. In terms of a fight, you never know what's going to happen come fight night. But a lot of these things that you see, it's like, okay, listen, do I want AJ to win if he fight him and Wilder fight? Yeah, of course. Do I think he's going to lose? No. But stuff happens. So I'm never shocked if something goes, different from the way I may have seen it playing out in my head. But it's not about me fantasizing about how the fight's going to go. I'm just looking at what both fighters do. I don't really, play the fight out like that. I just look at it and it's like, yeah, I'm definitely feeling like AJ is going to destroy this guy if they fight. But more so than just, can I say, along with making the big paycheck, to be able to have these guys on your resume, you at least want to know that you did it. Because I think that when you sit back, if you really have that integrity, you really a warrior, you'll sit back and feel regret, like, man, I didn't even make the effort to fight these guys. And when you look at guys who have more accomplished resumes and was in there with the tougher fighters, but they can't even get back into title contention because they're trying to put other people over them who they feel is more popular and will get more eyes on that particular fight. So, I look at this, man, and it's like, if for Wilder to bite down and understand what's at stake, and like he said, he out of his own mouth said, this might be my last dance, my last chance. So, I'm listening to him, and I'm looking at his body language and his posture and everything. Wilder's not confident. He knows that everything's on the line. There's pressure on him, and he's not confident. I don't care about him hollering bomb squad and all that. I'm saying I'm listening to him, and his words is just words. That's it. I don't feel anything that he's saying. And I'm looking at his face, just watching him when he's talking, and it's like, yeah, he's saying things, because he's being interviewed. He's saying these things and wanting to paint this picture for you that, the old Wilder is back. And it's like, okay, well, the old Wilder still is not a good boxer, right? So the old Wilder is going to be the same old Wilder, like we've been saying. Now, he knows he can't go in there and fight the way he did against Joseph Parker. Wilder's not a boxer at all. Wilder's a puncher. He needs to beat you off of movement, patience, timing, his jab. You understand what I'm saying? And because Wilder just doesn't mix his punches up well. He doesn't know how to. So Wilder needs to stick to what he does, stick to just the basics, be disciplined with those basics, and outmaneuver Zhang. Stepping around him, moving him, making him come into you, popping that jab, not letting him come in easy. Because Zhang doesn't have any footwork. Zhang Zhang is dangerous when you stand there and it's like a stalemate type of situation. He'll chop you down, he'll come at you. It's not like he can't, walk you down, but he's better when it's like in the pocket, and he'll chip you up and get his shots off. And Joseph Parker, he said that Zhang hits harder than Wilder does. Now you got people, nah, because the childish, petty nonsense. They want Wilder to be considered the hardest puncher of all time. That is a 280-pound dude. And I keep telling you guys, I would look at Zhang, I'm like, the dude can punch, but he's a boxer. So his mind is not, I'm coming in here to just throw haymakers at you and try to get you out of here. No, Zhang wants to knock you out, but he does it in the style of boxing instead of the style of brawling. So, the point is this. He hits hard enough to knock Wilder out. Wilder, and this is something that a lot of smaller heavyweights find out, even when they can punch, that it's harder to hurt the bigger guys. And I'm not at all saying he can't knock him out or drop him, whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying they find out, they get in there, and it's like, bam, they crack you. You don't go anywhere. You hit them, and they're like, oh, shit, he just wobbled me. You know? And at this stage in both of these guys' careers, man, it's like, I feel like who has the fresher body, who has the sharper mind, and who can go in there and be disciplined. This fight should be done 5 or 6 rounds. Like, really. So when I look at it, I'm looking at it from that perspective of, realistically, you have people that's afraid of heights, for example, right? You ask them, are they afraid of heights? They'll tell you no, right? But they won't get on a roller coaster, right? They're scared to climb up a ladder. I've worked with guys doing different jobs, and they're scared to go on a ladder and climb up to the top of a building and stuff like that, or, go up on the roof. But they'll tell you, no, I'm not scared of. Then what who goes to a theme park and scared to get on rides, right? Why'd you come here then, right? All these type of little things, and it's just simple stuff, right? Wilder, I believe if he studied, if he studied his own films of his own fights, even how he trains, if he studies his own, like his movements and what he does, and he studies his opponents, I would think that would help him open his eyes to what he needs to do and what he's not doing. But I feel like because he shut out learning these things that he should have learned, you can't go to college without going to high school, man. Like, plain and simple. So he pretty much put himself in a position where his style of fighting, he's told himself that that's all he needs. Case in point, he's going to have to leave it all in the ring. Now, we said all this, somebody could go in there first round, bam, oh shit, fight's over. It's possible. But you always prepare. Make sure you're physically in shape to go the distance if you have to. Simple. Even though you want the knockout. Now, the fact that everything's on the line, people need to understand this. Wilder is in a position right now simply to be given a second chance. Okay? And I'm only talking about with the Saudis' involvement. I ain't even talking about the DAZN deal and all that. I mean, like, right now, he's been given a second chance. And that's all this really is. People need to understand this. That's all this really is. Once again, if Zhang beats Wilder, and there's no Zhang versus Anthony Joshua in September, because that's when Anthony Joshua said he wants to fight again. If there's no AJ versus Zhang, that just goes to show you. Because I listen, I am certain if Wilder wins this fight, that's the next fight they're going to make, because they do not want to jeopardize that fight from not happening. So if Wilder understands these things that I'm saying, like he understands it, like, man, I'm giving a second chance. And he has to know this. Like I said, it's his word said this might be my last dance, last chance. So he has to know it. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what you say before the fight. Once that bell ring, you start getting punched. You landing shots. You can't land shots. You're getting hit. You're getting hurt. Your opponent is just as motivated as you are. A lot of times you just feel different. The fighter end up not having that, the toughness that they once had or they thought they had, and it just gets to the point where a lot of times inside you fight yourself. Fatigue sets in, all this type of stuff, and it's like, damn, I'm actually in a battle here, And let's just be real, y'all. Fury knocked Wilder out with one punch. That was one punch. Remember, Wilder do that shit, Fury jab, moved, and he came with that, man, caught him, overhand right, boom, knocked him out. Zhang hits hard. And I keep telling people like that y'all act like Zhang can't punch, or like y'all don't understand his power. I don't care about all that who people rate this guy is the hardest, then he's second, then he's third, and all. I don't care about none of that shit. What I focus on, y'all, I look at how you put it all together. You know, and the one thing that Wilder got going for him in this fight is he is younger than Zhang, to where, you know, if Zhang shows up, who knows, that one fight might come where the guy shows up and all of a sudden you can see, damn, he looks slower now. Like, you know, or, man, his punch don't seem to have the same steam on it, or, you know, we already know he has stamina issues. Like, look at Dillian White. We're not imagining this. Everybody saw Dillian White and said, damn, Dillian looks like trash right now. He's super slow, lazy, winging punches, look real amateur-like. We all saw that. We all saw that. So that version of Dillian White, you know, can he improve? We'll have to see, right? And if Wilder loses to Zhang, this is the thing. What is he going to do now? All right, bucket list. Let me go fight Dillian White so I can say that at least I fought him. Who else? I'm going to go fight Daniel Dubois. Like, nah. Wilder loses this fight, he's done. I told you guys he needed to fight or he's going to fade away, right? Did I not tell you guys that? He's going to end up fading away because nobody cares. Nobody wants to see these antics again. We don't want to see the C-level guys. We know this. You can knock out C-level guys. That's what you've been doing your whole career, right? So we knew this. Now look at where he is. You see? So he's been given a second chance. Everything's on the line. Who wants it more? That's what we're going to have to tune in to see. Zhang understands he loses this fight, and at his age, there's going to be a lack of interest there. And understand, you know, how many Chinese boxers do you know? How many popular Chinese boxers do you know? Right? So he could probably go home and do good numbers somewhere in an arena, you know, because his countrymen will come out and support that. But I mean, just in terms of him, star power, and a demand for Zhang. You see what I'm saying? Now, and he beat Joseph Parker, that could have been the situation. But he lost to Joseph Parker. And so now people see, too, that, you know, we always saw that Zhang had stamina issues. So we knew that already. So now that it was so apparent that, man, this dude pretty much had that fight in the bag till he got tired against Parker. So you never know, like, is that going to be an issue again? You know, so Wilder swallowed his pride and signed with Eddie Hearn. So maybe he'll swallow his pride and try to fight as smart as he possibly can. Don't depend on just landing that right hand, but set it up, be smart about it. Because the only way this fight's going to happen with AJ is if he wins against Zhang. He loses to Zhang, it's all over. And one day, somebody will be doing a story on Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. The one fight that never happened. You know, and that's pretty much, you know, the way things just go sometimes, man. But you can't go back and correct what you did in the past. You can only focus on the here and now and what you're going to do in the future. So, you know, like I said, through all of this, I want people to understand that Wilder's given a second chance. Hell, Zhang is given a second chance. But his second chance basically is coming against a guy who lost to the same guy he just lost to. So it actually makes sense to have this as a, you know what, we both need each other. But, you know, it's not like people were clamoring for AJ versus Zhang fight for all these years. It was AJ versus Wilder. So, you know, but once again, Joseph Parker, who continues to win, ain't this some shit? Joseph Parker beat Zhang and Wilder, but they both get a second chance at redemption and to be put in a higher bracket than Joseph Parker. You know? But again, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. You know? So is Zhang going to conquer, or is he going to crumble? Is Wilder going to dig down and find something inside of him that he never, you know, had to really summon before and be victorious and get this knockout? I think somebody's going night-night. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think somebody's going night night, and let's say this too. If Zhang and Wilder go the distance, that doesn't say a lot good about Wilder, because that means he didn't give Zhang anything to worry about, and he wasn't able to, implement his game plan where Zhang will get tired and he can get the knockout. That's why I said if it goes the distance, it's probably going to be a boring ass fight. Yeah, because that means both of these guys are holding back, trying to be careful and cautious. So I think if it went the distance, it'll be like, all right, Wilder won, he's fighting AJ, but the enthusiasm is not the same, the interest is not the same. For Zhang, well, AJ beat him in the amateurs, so they'll have a redemption, revenge story for Zhang. And after Anthony Joshua knocks him out, then what? But I'm not too sure that Zhang and AJ would be next, but it would make no sense. Think about it. Parker beat both of them, yet he's still not in the title mix. Now, if Zhang was to beat Wilder, and somehow he ends up fighting somebody else instead of AJ, like I said, it just crystallizes what I'm telling you. So what was the purpose of all of that? It's like Andy Ruiz went into title eliminators just to not get a title shot. So they're all in. It's all or nothing. All or nothing. So I just wanted to put this video out, man, because it's like, this is it. This fight determines if we're going to get AJ versus Wilder. Plain and simple. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.